It's a great day. I'm Diane with Diversified Capital Funding. Thank you for joining me today. My guest here is Jeff Perkins with Tustin Insurance Agency. Jeff and I have worked together now for about 5 years, and the value of working with Jeff has been that, number one, he's a broker, so he has several resources of insurance companies to help fit our needs. One of the areas that Jeff has been extremely helpful with me is when we're pre-qualifying somebody to buy a home. The address is pretty important, isn't it, too?
The address is pretty important because there's a number of factors that go into the cost. The zip code alone is one of them, the proximity to brush, the age of the house, the type of roof. These are all things that we're going to look at that help determine the cost of the specific policy for that home and that home buyer.
Well, and when you're buying a home, obviously cost is important. And, not only the interest rate, what are the property taxes? So I always check the property tax roll as well to see what the actual taxes are. But equally as important is the insurance, because again, we had one that it was really close to this brush area, and we determined that the cost was extremely high, and we couldn't figure out why, other than the fact that it was close to the brush area. Right. We tried to get that cost down as low as possible, but it made a determining factor if somebody wanted to buy that home, because it is about the cost of what that home is going to incur each year. So other factors, Jeff, how do we get those premiums down if we need to get that for qualifying purposes?
There are other things that we can do if we're close to hitting that ratio. Number one, we can increase the deductible on the policy to save them anywhere from a couple $100, possibly $1,000 a year on the insurance policy. We can add discounts, we can look at packaging other policies together. We can potentially save 30, 40, 50% off of the initial quote for their homeowner's insurance policy.
And once again, that's really important, especially when you're about to write an offer on a property, and maybe we're stretching your ratios. Maybe we're just like right there, but this is the perfect house. So what we want to do is fine-tune what those numbers are going to be so we don't have surprises throughout the transaction that can cause either cancellation or more frustration or more stress. So I have found also that Jeff has been really quick at responding. Jeff understands the urgency of when we're about to write an offer and what that premium is going to do and how it's going to affect our transaction. When working with a company that's large, that doesn't have a particular agent, I think that's been very difficult for me because I can't reach that person. I can't determine what the cost is going to be. And again, it's kind of hard to determine specifically to this property, and time frames are pretty important. Another thing that you've been very helpful about is at the end, once we are about to close escrow, getting proof of insurance. We have to have proof of insurance before we close.
Right, and we know that the whole deal hinges on getting all the documents submitted, the insurance document being one of them. I'm happy to give out my email and my cell phone, knowing that these deals are coming on a certain day. They may be a day early, they may be a few days late. We want to be there and be available. I know some of my competitors tell their clients it's going to be 48 hours before you get something from me. Well, we're not going to do that at our agency. We're going to be able to type it up, bind the policy, send it out within a few minutes in most cases.
And to me, that's been really, really helpful in our transaction, closing them. Again, you get down to the wire, it gets pretty stressful. And if insurance is the only thing holding us up, I have seen things happen where it's been 2 days delayed, and many times I've actually called you and said, I need you to step in because this insurance company isn't doing it, and you've stepped in and saved our deal and closed us on time. So Jeff, how would my clients know how to reach you?
Well, the best way is on my cell phone. That's 714-912-4500, or feel free to send me an email as well, jeff@tustininsurance.com.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Have an excellent day.